Hi there, guys. What's up? This is KingFan701. Just letting you know is that things have been very, very hot and intense over here. It's been 24 degrees and I'm absolutely cooking like hell. Despite I put a cooling spray on and trying to relax and enjoy the afternoon sunshine and everything else, but today's been a really good one. Felt a new lease of life kicking in me, and I have to say, I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for who came to my aid and also to do what had to be done last night, which I have to say with some regrets and in a way, because it shouldn't have. What happened last night was supposed to be the final warning, but as we all know, right near the end of the broadcasting, as we all knew, as I feared would happen, that final warning got blown, and eventually, whose name, who I'm never going to mention, never ever again. He's done. There was just no way it was going to work out, and eventually, I've done the right thing. I gotta have you guys to thank so much. I've got to take, I want to take this opportunity to thank Callum. I want to thank Roger, and I want to thank my supporters. I want to thank Neil as well, and for all you guys who have been there with me from the start, from this terrible ordeal that went on for way too long, that eventually last night was the final curtain call, and and we can start from fresh from there. And regardless of the outcome, what I will say is that it was very regretful in doing so, but at the same time, this was the best course of action that I had to do. And deep down, even though you didn't see me show it, I was actually on the inside in tears about what we had to do, but it had to be done. But I want to take this opportunity to thank every one of you guys who stepped in when I needed it. And for those who continue on to stack against me, they have no idea that they'll be wasting their time, because as of this moment, I will not have any more tolerance towards any social media abuse. I won't tolerate being called such horrible names that people still associate me with. And to all my friends out there who are being called, Glenn Simps, or me being called a Titanic simp and all that bullshit and all the other things that went down, that's just time wasting, consuming, because I've got better things to do than listen to those who just have nothing better but to abuse me as if I'm, this unchangeable person, as some people will say. But as you know, a few weeks back, I actually did that stream asking, am I very unchangeable? Truth be told, I'm not, because everyone has seen what has become of me in a very good way. And slowly but surely, I've progressed so well to the point where I've been able to battle my own fights, with you guys leading me the right direction in how to deal with matters, and not how I used to do them back in the day when I was a lot more immature and a lot more, back in the day when I couldn't think straight. But nowadays I feel like I've gotten some sense back, and I do feel like I'm in the right direction, and just taking full advantage of it. Regardless of how many friendships have been broken, regardless of how many I attempted to repair, or regardless of those who just will not leave me alone or accept that they want to stay in the past or not progress forward into the future with us. And that's their own fault. There we go, William here. Hey there, William. Welcome on board for a bit. It's an honor.
Hey, it's been a long time.
Hey, William. Yeah, I'm good. Keeping good.
Alright.
I'm just hanging on strong.
Okay.
After what went down last night, it's just, it was a very personal thing to do, but the good news is I went about it the right way, and I feel proud of it. Though, regardless of others will criticize my actions, but at least there was no violence, there was no threatening, and there was no drama that unfolded. To be honest, it was a pretty decent one that had to be done. It was a done deal, and I've kept my end of the deal, regardless of me being stalked and abused and whatnot, not getting any peace. But I feel like I finally got it back, and I do feel that now I'm in a very good position to continue forward, regardless of what's going to happen next. And I just think 2021 for the next 6 months will follow on quite nicely. We just got to continue doing what we need to do for the time being, which is what I'm more focused on.
All
Hey,
right.
Chris. Hey, Christopher. Nice to see you up. I know if you didn't get to see that, you were there last night and you saw how everything went down, and thankfully there was no drama.
Yeah,
There was
absolute nightmare.
there was no bad blood. Although I will say that was the final bad blood finished off. But as you all know, you know whose name who I'm never going to mention ever again, which I'm saying, because I don't want to stir up anymore. Even though you apparently let's just say that was the final act. Well, not my final act, but it was like the last final warning I was going to give if I wouldn't do this again. But regardless, I had to get the message out and tell everybody that they've been lied to, backstabbed, regardless of what everyone has said. No one would listen, and finally I had everything done, and there it was. And regardless of what was going on after others picked up on the other streaming that was being shown parallel to me, and it backfired. Not on me, but let's just say we got what we needed, and and we went off topic, having a good time, which can happen. But as my fears happened, again, Christopher, if you do remember seeing at the very end, I couldn't believe it. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know who didn't know what to do anymore? I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the stream because I didn't bother. But I wanted to, but my mom was like, it's best not to, because I already saw it in the chat, not in mine, but in his, it was absolutely just going off so bad it blew up, and I was like, what? I was like, whoa. As I knew what would happen. Luckily enough, I've been able to come forth, and I've cleaned up all the mess. And thankfully, no more drama is going to happen. Despite everyone has seen my side, and everybody else has seen the proof of me changing better, let's just say I have no more intentions anymore of doing what I had to do for the last couple of weeks. I feel like I've gone about it the right way, and the good. I don't know if it's going to be over, but if this has to continue, I will not bother anymore in terms of doing another responding or better words, exposing more evidence, whatnot. But let's just say the whole thing, I think, is mostly over and done with. And I want to take this moment to congratulate all you guys that were there for me. And despite everything that's been going down, there's only one more thing I need to do, and that can put the lid chain on this for good. But unfortunately, that'll have to wait a bit longer. And of course, the whole Bosher BS stuff about me, who got me, the guy who literally turned on all of us and set my ass up for this. That's gonna have to wait a little bit later on. But right now, I'm in the aftermath, and this is basically a small little stream for me to thank all you guys for what you did last night. Coming up for to my side, and well, not to my side, but coming to the aid and seeing the evidence of what was being laid and presented, and me telling the truth, regardless of how I was feeling. I just kept myself in check about it, and I didn't go off in a tantrum, which I think a lot of people were kind of expecting me to go on off one, which never happened. Because I knew full well how to approach this, and I did this in a positive, calmful manner, and I didn't want to lose it. So, if you compare to how the way I was speaking and how who in his bad streamings, which he keeps hiding as a coward, he doesn't take it seriously, he just goes up and mocks it up. But with me, fine.
You've got the better way of doing things.
Yeah, it's funny actually, because all I did last night was how I should have been doing it way back in the day before my own screw up happened last year, when I had my own depressive state and what was going on. Now I feel like I've learned an even bigger lesson in my life now in how to deal with things. And even if there's somebody in the chat right now who would come in and start, hurling abuse or talk random bullshit to try and get back at me, they'll know I'll just completely ignore them, because I'm not even looking at the chats, because I'm always too focused on talking to who's with me on the broadcasting as much. And that's how I've coped with these things lately. I mean, when I congratulated Tarson19 with his amazing storybook that he does, that's when you remember that. You remember the one with me? I had a can in my hand congratulating.
Yeah.
And that was where that is actually where the whole thing started to go downhill, with who's downfall with me, and how I felt like I was being stalked and harassed in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
but still, I feel like I've gone about things a lot better. But that's how it all started in that last stream, in that one where I congratulated Taurus9 for his storytelling, and then that's when in the chat, if you remember watching it, that's when things began to get a little ugly and a bit, if not nasty. But for now, I feel like
Yeah.
I've got all the things needed, but still, I just can't believe it. I mean, hopefully now this has sealed the deal, and we'll never have any more of this ever again. Regardless,
I hope not.
some have seen everybody on Hangout saw everything else happening as well, and they knew I was in the right this time. And despite there was a bit of drama, and I did get a little involved in other things that I try to be peacekeeper of. Not to mention, despite some say they don't want to renew a friendship with me, but for now they should stay neutral, but give it more time. I mean, I know I still have to owe up, but I've done my part of the deal this entire time, and for their sake and peacekeeping, I'm not going to do any more, like, streaming about an individual who just keeps on screwing up with this anymore, because I did what I had to do last night. I'm hoping that was going to be the last one, but if he didn't do what he did last night at the very end when we all knew what was happening, which backfired, it kind of was like a 50-50 effect. I won't have to bother now.
Yeah, because when I was on, I was kind of here and there and all that with Instagram, because I was doing stuff on Instagram as well. So I was kind of using both my phones I've got at the moment, because I've got my new one and I've still got my old one. So I was kind of going in between them.
So you were what do you mean going in between? You actually were looking on both streams?
I was looking on the stream on my newer phone, and then I was looking at Instagram on my old phone, like this. Yeah.
But anyways, guys, I just want to take this opportunity once again to thank every one of you guys who mean the world to me. And I know it was hard to do this, but as you all know, individuals like, it was funny actually, because as you saw, Dark Magical Yoshi, who is like a big sister to me, she found out herself about all this, and my God, if you didn't see it, she exploded with rage with you know who, and she finally did the right thing. I couldn't believe it. She was actually going on not on our team, but she knew full well that her deal had been blown too, just like I had said it was going to happen. But after a good talk, we've settled things down nicely, and thankfully, no harm has come. And I was worried if she would find out, and my fears came true. Thankfully, I've told everything from my side of everything, and that I am changed, and I haven't. I did admit saying, about all the wrong things I said. I didn't mean to, I said these things like, about the whole thing with me and Mr. Ortez, making threats and, taking lives and whatnot, which I have never done. But I will admit in the past I used to make, death threats in the past, which I do feel shameful of still, but those things don't happen anymore. I've never once since then since seeking help, never have said it once. But yet there are those that will continue to, make it look like I'm still doing it when I'm not. I'm gonna have them fake accounts, them stupid ones that just mess things up.
Some people will just continue to live in the past and not look on to what future could be there. They just want to drag people back into the past, and it's stupid.
That's the problem. I'm trying to progress, not like in desperation, but like where my focus should be in life at this point, and be there.
It's just been ridiculous, the amount of hate that you've been getting, even though you're a changed person.
Look, the whole hate has been lasting on for a couple of years. I mean, my downfall was way back in, 2017. And the 311 film eventually, was the thing that ruined a lot of old friendships, and I had to disembark from an old team. So that's why I've been semi-retired since, but my voice acting has kind of trimmed badly. And since then, I don't know where to go as much, and I'm trying to find newer teams that I've, to form to make newer things. And when that happens, the past catches up with me again, drama and BS, and eventually everyone learning from about who I used to be comes up, and then they don't bother, and then eventually that's who I am, and they think that's how I am forever to be. Yet some have seen me change big time. Took a little while, but there were those who refused to, and then I get ridiculous BS stuff that's never going to stop. And some people are still in fear of me that I could be a danger to some people. Well, I'm not. I'm nowhere near to being a psychopath, and despite my mindset and the things I can think of, it doesn't make me a dangerous person. I mean,
exactly.
you'd have to go deep into my mind and deeper in terms of like really bad insults and making me want to go across that line to do what many men tend to do nowadays, in that of cowardness and immatureness, and to make people lose their sanity. When people try that with me nowadays, they know you shouldn't play that game because I can easily retaliate that way, and everybody else loses their mind and they end up, you know. But I have different ways of doing it, but not with violence anymore, unless it was really personal. And last night I didn't go that far, but I had thought about it. But at the same time, there's a better way of handling things, and I went about it a lot better last night. But still, it just really does irritate. It does irritate me sometimes to think like what's done was done, and this is that. I've learned to adapt to that. But the reason why people say, "Oh, Glenn, you continue on talking about this and that," sometimes I have to because people ask me, or they tend to ask, this or that, or what was the reason, and sometimes I don't really like to, unless I trust them, and that's where I get emotionally at times. It's just been, like I said, it's been a nightmare for the last couple of years, but I've slowly have been fighting a lot better. I mean, since last year was the ultimate test of survival, but so you can change me as a person is still a very controversial journey at this point, and that's the problem I'm in at this point. I've never been the same individual that me knew and loved me as before, and I've tried to recapture it and repair it in a much more improved way by doing all these newer things that I wish I could have done back then. But my mindset was very different, and my mindset was never good. I was very immature, and there were times where I felt pretty guilty, but I just didn't show it because I thought if I did, showing emotion would tend to make me a weaker person. And I don't like to be weak. I like to be strong and determined, and now I feel like I've opened up a bit more. I do feel like there's nothing bad in being that way, but I'm just trying to control a lot of more things that people should never exploit me for. And even when people called me, even now, those idiots that who we're still with keep calling me a bloody simp. They call me the Titanic simp. That BS stuff about me and Titanic has lasted well over a good decade, all because of my fanfics. And yes, I will admit back then that was how I was, but I didn't have any. I'm not that mindset of a guy who's, not like as you see today, which are just taking the absolute piss, especially when they take the mickey on the LGB stuff, which is something I'm going to avoid talking about, and I keep a very bad distance away from with. Okay, but you get my drift.
Yeah.
Since it is Pride Month here in the UK, I'm trying to show that pride more, but in a much more distant manner, but still be happy with who I am and how far I've come in life. That's how I am. Not like how people show it, how it should be, but that's just me. Yes, 24 p.m. Thomas and Friend, you make a pretty damn good point. Even though we can't say it anymore, just to let you guys know, but you make a good point. Yeah, well, if you saw it, it did actually happen. That's true, But that was when I realized I did my duty, and as much as it pains me, even now in my gut right now, what worries me more, I should have said this on the last streaming, but that bloke's really, really hard to save now. He's beyond my saving. I gave up on helping in the end. And a lot of people think I could be suicidal. I may think those kind of things, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't work. I only do it in a desperation plea for help. if I'm in a really serious situation when I'm in a depressed state that I need to deal with. But I would never do it.
Exactly.
I'd never do it. Not in this day and age. Not with COVID. Since I've been it once. But you know who is apparently, as much as I hate to say it, I'm going to say it this last time and that'll be that, is that for the last 7 times he has tried to commit his own life.
Oof.
And he's said it on Twitter numerous times. I've tried to relate. Everybody else who've had this I've tried to relate with. And yeah, people say I don't care. I can. I just have a very neutral, funny way of showing it nowadays, but not too much because people will try to exploit me for it, and I hate that. Hey Golden, nice to see you pop in. You want to say anything, mate?
I'm not sure if this will be like the end of like this whole situation, because I hope it is, because you never know what the future may bring. I'm just saying, because I don't really know if this is actually like the end.
Well, I think it is. I think from my part, I guess, but with him, I think it's not. But this stream's to be a big thank you for everybody. No. CGR Ralph and our guys 511. That he isn't that. No, he isn't. But here's the thing. I'm in the aftermath right now, so I'm happy how it all turned out. But it was. Some will say, was it necessary? A 50-50. Yes and no. The yes was because to show more evidence of what was going on, and it was unnecessary because I regret what was going to happen. But funny enough, nothing bad did happen. At least I dealt with this a lot more better, and I didn't go off in a, because that's what a lot of people expect me to do when I'm on these streams, when I'm reporting something that's really on my mind. And if you noticed, when sometimes I get a lot of abuse and all that shit that was being said, I tend to not respond as much or refuse to because I know I'm trying to be, tested or goaded into doing something to be set up, and I know it too well. That's why you sometimes see me being silent or not responding or whatnot, or just ignoring when I'm talking to you lot. Everybody knows that we all have consequences. I've dealt with mine, and not all of them were good. Some were a bit over the top, which I won't talk about, but I've already dealt with this, and now the others have to have it now. What's really upsetting about this whole thing is that all the lads I know of all came from the Thomas community and the trains community, and what do I get? And we all have nothing but fighting over nothing, and it's always me at times who gets the main targeting, as if I've been public enemy number one, as if, now I know I hate saying this, but I'll say anyway, just for the sake of it. It's like I'm the Donald Trump / Adolf Hitler of the industry. That's how I looked at it as this whole ordeal. I know it's bullshit, but that's how I looked at it as. What do you think, Chris?
Well, in all honesty, you've made mistakes in the past, but now you're actually repairing things. You're a lot better than you had been, despite me not knowing what you were like before.
It's good we didn't know. I was a different person, but that was when my mindset and everything I had was in my prime. Now I wish I was like that today, had things not, that's the only thing. That's the strange twist. Anyways, you were saying?
Well, basically, in the past, we've all made mistakes, but we now are trying to improve ourselves.
Indeed, it's never easy. It's never easy.
Yeah. I've done a lot of stupid things in the past, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
We
Done-
all have our right. We all make mistakes. That's what makes us human. But when you make
Exactly.
mistakes, it's almost like when we make mistakes, it's almost like it's the ultimate wrongdoing. No, mistakes are there to be made and to be fixed. You know, without mistakes, how are we going to learn our errors without even
Exactly.
realizing at times? That's the frustrating thing I keep saying. Anyways, I'm just glad things were dealt with much better. And let's just say I feel that we've gone in the right direction and we'll continue on to take advantage of that. And but like I said, today is a big thank you for everyone who was really there that night. You know, Callum, yourself, Golden, you especially as well, and 24 p.m. with friends as well. I appreciate you, Ron, as well, and the GCR guy 511 also appreciate that. You know, there's just so many. It's strange how my fan base has just fallen and risen, introduced new fans in the last couple of weeks. It's just been mind-boggling. Well, I've been on for too long now, so I'll have to close one up in roughly about 15 to 20 minutes now. This will be the last one prior to near the end of the month or so, because I can't go as far. I can only have 20 hours on these things. I've neared my time limit expiration. So yeah, this won't be for too long.
I've been working away on a couple of my Dalek projects, like today. This is one of them based on, if I can get it into shot. It's not quite complete yet, but trying to get this on camera. Yeah. I just need to repaint the spheres in red, and then it's a sort of mixture of the Supreme from Planet of the Daleks and the sort of red Dalek that was supposed to be in one of the episodes, but was stolen during production for some reason. Yeah.
Nice.
And using some of the old Supreme's neck grill section. Shot again. This guy.
That looks pretty cool.
I couldn't put it onto the 60s Dalek for the 70s neck section, but I managed to put a 60s dome on it, so it's quite surprising.
Well, at least you got it.
And eventually, for the last bit, the slats, I've made a.
Hang on. I can't be in there, so I'm going to drive in there afterwards. All right, so keep the water running. All right. So I'm going to have one. Yeah. So yeah, that's not bad.
Very nice.
So, what has everybody else been up to?
Nothing much. I've just been out helping my mom in the plus 24-degree heat, and I'll be taking a cool one afterwards when we're done here. But things have been good. I'm just hoping right now, after what's gone down, after you guys all did a great job when I needed it most, and can't be more thankful, regardless of how things are going to go from here now.
As I say, that's what friends do. We'll stick together. And at the end of the day, anyone treating you or any of the people in this stream, or in any case, anyone treating people like a asshole can just get stuff.
Yeah, like I said, at least, yeah, no matter what's going to happen, I'm just hoping things will go well, and that's all I'll say. Regardless for this now, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. For you guys, it's been really, really a rough one. Things were tense. Things got really, really tense, and I just, felt that what had to be done had to be done. It was the best course of action, and how it was all done, dusted was just, yeah. I think it's safe to say that with Neil and yourself, and you, Golden, and of course with Callum and Roger and all the other guys, they did well, really well. It's just all about the whole digestive. It's just about digesting and trying to, and not trying to look back too much, but just make sure that what we felt was right. I could just imagine what's his name reaction if he was down here right now trying to stir things up, but that's not the intention. No, I want nothing more anymore to do with him. Like I said, I kept my word, and well,
here we are
it
now.
has happened.
It's
He
finally
broke
over.
his bones and he's out on his backside.
You're saying something? Yeah, hang on. You saying something, Golden?
I'll say now is that since it's finally over, we can all just take a break, give ourselves a pat on the back, and relax for a
That's
while.
something I'm going to be now for a little bit, so I won't be back for a couple of days. Actually, for the rest of the week, I don't think I'll be here for a long while. But I'll still be active elsewhere, but it's just the fact is that for now, from here until the next week or so, I'll, so just give me some time for that. So anyways, lads, thanks for dropping in for this small little stream again. Once again, thanks to all you lot for the support and everything else, guys. Thanks for popping in, Christopher. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for you guys for tuning in. It's CanFan 701. Enjoy the rest of your hot summer week, and so until then, peace.
Later.
Yeah.